me welcome Emmanuel Brown to the blue corner.
Multiple times. He said the biggest changes he's made for this fight is spiritual and mental cultivation. He had a dominant performance last time. He believes he is capable of much more, and he expects to get a finish in this fight coming out here. This is 5 rounds and is for the PFA 175-pound light heavyweight title. Emmanuel Brown in the blue corner, looking loose and ready to make a statement here. His first title bout for the PFA.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome his opponent, Pedro Chavez, to the red corner.
And fighting out of the red corner, also from Tucson, Arizona, is Pedro Chavez. Fighting out of John 14-6 Muay Thai. Comes in with a record of 2-2. He fought at SAA Alliance just 1 week ago. Really impressive turnaround. The number one thing about this guy, he is tremendous out of the clinch. Really strong knees, really strong, control. He knows positioning, and looks for him to get on the inside here and dominate the fight from close range. Pedro Chavez saying his prayers in the corner, taking on Emmanuel Brown for the PFA 175-pound strap.
Ladies and gentlemen, your co-main event is brought to you by UKF Ultimate Combat Fitness. Your co-main event is for the vacant PFA Light Heavyweight State Championship. Has full Muay Thai rules and is scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds. In the blue corner, with an amateur record of 4 wins and 1 loss, with an official weight of 173.6 pounds, fighting out of Kinetic in Tucson, Arizona, introducing Emmanuel Brown! His opponent fighting out of the red corner with an amateur record of 2 wins and 2 losses, with an official weight of 175.2 pounds, fighting out of John 14-6 Muay Thai in Tucson, Arizona, presenting Pedro Chavez!
And our first of 2 title bouts, the co-main event of the evening, Pedro Chavez out of the red corner taking on Emmanuel Brown out of the blue corner. And this is a real matchup of opposite styles here. Emmanuel Brown wants to keep it at range, wants to be out distance, and Pedro wants to close the distance and get into that clinch that he knows so well. Big kick landed there early by Brown. Ooh, good shots there from Emmanuel Brown early. Getting to work with the 1-2. Thai march to advance from Chavez. There he is in the clinch. Good knee there from Brown as he breaks. And Brown circling out. Good teep to the stomach. Good Superman punch. Combination work here from Brown. Really, really doing some work. And thank you very much to Joshua Padilla for joining me earlier. One of our tremendous young fighters here at PFA. But as I said, I will be here alone for the rest of the fights. And there, Pedro gets to his position in the clinch. Now he starts working those knees that he knows so well. Good clinch work here by Pedro Chavez. And as I mentioned, he might be the most proficient clinch fighter we have in all of the PFA. I've seen him several times before. Had a really unfortunate result his last time out. A headbutt resulted in a cut on his forehead, and the fight had to be stopped. But obviously all healed up now and ready to go. And this is really just a technical clinch battle between these 2 fighters. Throwing knees, battling for position. Oh. Both men exchanging. Good teep there from Brown. Teep's really doing good work so far. And I am joined by ASAP Sports Network's own James Nesbitt. How are we doing, man? Welcome to the broadcast.
Man, this has been a good one, man.
This has been an action-packed card. And I was just saying before you hopped on, it's a really interesting stylistic matchup because we've seen both these guys before. Pedro Chavez is probably one of, if not the most proficient clinch fighter we have in the PFA. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Brown, really good at range, tremendous kicks, wants to get behind that 1-2. So, we can already see this developing. The, desire to get inside by Pedro and Emmanuel trying to shuck off and get to range once again.
Yeah, man, and this is incredible too. You like you were pointing out, for those that haven't noticed, Pedro pushes the pace constantly. We've seen it. We've talked about his Muay Thai march, one of the best ones in our circuit, man. And he's able to close the distance on Emmanuel, and once he gets in the clinch, that's when you're going to see Pedro get to work.
And you can see the redness already forming on the leg of Pedro Chavez in these low kicks. And the combination work of Emmanuel Brown really doing work here early.
Emmanuel picking his spots.
Oh, good teep to the body there. And again, you just see that range that he wants to use so much.
Very technical fight here by Emmanuel.
Oh, massive body kick from Chavez there.
And as you see there, you leave an opening, Pedro's going to find it.
And everything he does is to get to the clinch, He throws a strike, he's using that strike to enter. When he's marching in with that Thai march, he's trying to get into the clinch, It's really the central part of his game plan.
Yes, it is. And especially with such a tall fighter as Emmanuel is, when he gets in those clinch and those knees are flying, it's hitting those thighs, it's hitting around those knees. And we've talked about it a lot, man. You take them legs out, and there's nothing behind it.
Absolutely. Especially with such a punch-heavy and kick-heavy offensive style that Emmanuel Brown showcases. There we go.
There goes
That's something.
Them elbows.
This is a full Muay Thai rules bout. I would love to see Chavez work those elbows up above his own head, in that clinch position.
Right.
Oh, that was a nice knee there from Emmanuel Brown.
And of course, now this round is more of Pedro's style. This is more of Pedro's fight.
He wants to get down and dirty with it, and he is doing that. And, I think I spoke about this before you hopped on, but in Pedro's last fight, we saw it get stopped due to the cut on his forehead due to the incidental clash of heads. And that's the unfortunate part about this style of, fight is when you're up in there using your head for pressure, you smack against some other bone, and all of a sudden you might have a big gash. So
right.
I'm happy to see him back so soon. And, again, it seems that that has done nothing to affect his overall style of fight.
Right. And I happened to see Pedro last week at the SAA Alliance tournament, and he lost in a very, very close decision. So it's, I know he has a chip on his shoulder coming into this one.
Hey, man, win or lose, you got to give the man credit for coming in and fighting a week later after, fighting such a tough fight. So, I mentioned that before and again, and he's a true Muay Thai fighter. Week in, week out, doesn't really care where it's at, who it's against. I will step in and I will fight. So, seems like we've got a lot of guys that mentality here at the PFA.
Right, and this one's a 5-rounder. It's a championship fight.
Yeah.
So, to come out after a fight last week, and then come back this week and do a 5-round fight for a title.
Impressive.
And let's talk about Emmanuel Brown a little bit. The first fighter in PFA circuit with the opportunity to become a 2-division champion.
Yes, he obviously already holds one belt for us, and this at the light heavyweight division could be his second one if he holds on here. But across from him, Pedro is, like we said, as tough as they come, as game as they come, and he's going to take everything Emmanuel has to get this win tonight.
Right. Just another testament to how much talent is on this PFA circuit.
Absolutely. And see right there, something I really liked Brown do is as soon as Pedro entered for the clinch, he went with the long guard to keep the knees away so he couldn't quite get in tight like he wanted, and therefore he was able to break and reset to space.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, he's really picking his shots. He's stepping in, catching Pedro on the come in, and then bouncing out that pocket really quick.
And there's that Thai march right there. And for those watching at home who might not know, that is done to basically prevent low kicks from coming back and force your opponent to kind of stay in one space so you can close the distance and eventually enter the clinch like how Pedro likes. So he's using that Thai march to great effect.
Pedro is probably one of the best clinchers in the state.
Absolutely. I think there's no doubt about that. Any weight class, any division, any promotion.
Pound for pound, for sure.
And that's something I like Brown doing, with the height, really weigh on him, force that spine to be uncomfortable, because if you're trying to tip the guy over, he's not going to be able to control and throw those knees.
And I don't know if for the fans sitting at home, if you've never had a grown man hanging on you, it takes a lot out of you.
And not just hanging on you, but blasting knees into your stomach as well. I mean,
right.
It's hard enough to just get hung on. Here.
Now, I'm going to have to go out and say that, being here in the third round, both of these fighters look very composed. The cardio has been great so far. Look at the pace.
Nasty style like the clinch where you're just using all your muscles in your back and your shoulders and your arms. Now, acid is building up. There's some good elbows there for Pedro. And one on the chin there. This is the type of work that really weighs on the fighter over time. Used to the legs, hanging on him with the clinch. We could see Pedro, start to build some momentum in the last couple rounds.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Talking about the differences in styles. Pedro's looking for that long term. That long distance game. He's trying to take you down to those later rounds, so that way that clinch is winning on.
Yeah, it's almost like in MMA how a wrestler wants to take you into deep waters and wearing the gas. I mean, clinch is the wrestling of Muay Thai. It's the grappling component. So when you can force the opponent to have to deal with that first and foremost, it becomes much harder for them to go offense, on their own. So.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of using his offense for defense as well in this last round. Slowed Emmanuel down a lot, and that's very hard to do.
Absolutely. And frankly, I haven't even been scoring this fight. I'm just enjoying the action here. And a very, very close fight. And again, this is one other one. It really depends on what the judges are looking for. Do they prefer the striking? Do they prefer the, clinch?
I honestly got this one scored 1 round apiece. With a draw, and that's why I said I got a draw.
That's fair.
In one of the rounds.
Good knee there from Chavez.
I think the first round was Emmanuel, the third round was Pedro, second was really close.
And again, for those who have never experienced it, it's hard to put in words just how thrilling the Thai battle is. I mean, massive shots there from Emmanuel out wide, and this time he enters the clinch.
Man, Pedro hit him with a big shot, and Emmanuel responded right away.
Absolutely.
A couple of big shots of his own.
And I love how Pedro will create that angle on the side and create that almost side clinch and bend Emmanuel over and throw knees to the body that way. It really exposes those strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Good combination there from Brown.
Look at the redness appearing on Pedro.
You can see that welt from those low kicks. Massive.
Now, you're not seeing as much of the clinch, as much of Pedro moving forward in this one. Do you think that's a little bit of the cardio wearing on him?
I've noticed Brown's the one initiating the clinch when he gets. He realizes if he's the one to go. Again, not to make another MMA reference, but if you take a wrestler down, they cannot take you down. You're on top, So it's similar type of mentality maybe. If I can get into the clinch, then I'm not at a disadvantage while he has the dominant position throwing his knees, and then I shoot to break the strike. And I think this is
especially if you know that Pedro's trying to come in and he's using that as offense, beat him to the punch.
Exactly, 100%. And I think that was probably Brown's strongest round yet, simply because he dictated those clinch positions. Obviously, a lot of times you want to beat the opponent where. Obviously, you want to challenge your opponent where they're weakest. If you can beat them where they're strongest, that means so much more in the visuals and being like, okay, no, I'm going to beat them where they're best and prove that I'm a better fighter in this matchup. So
it's kind of like taking that oomph out of it.
Exactly, 100%. The wind sails.
Right.
Yeah.
You ever been hit, you fall on a football?
Oh, yeah.
In football? And
Yeah. You ever been kneed to the body before? Exactly.
It's kind of the same thing,
100%.
Right? You know, because you're used to applying the pressure in that position. You're used to bringing the fight in that position, and then your opponent is like using that against you.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like, what do I do from here?
Throws the whole game plan off. Absolutely.
Right,
So
right.
we are here for the championship rounds. Signal for the touch of gloves from both fighters. Show of respect and.
Championship round, ladies and gentlemen.
Frankly, I mean, this could be anything. This could be 3-1 either way. This could be 2-2. I mean, it's really hard to say, but all I know is both these guys have a lot to fight for in this last round.
I guarantee you, these two are going to leave it in the gas tank on this one.
Yes.
Are going to empty the gas tank on this one, excuse me.
Leaving nothing left in there.
Yes, sir. Emmanuel again, a couple of elbow exchanges.
Yep.
I've been really impressed with Emmanuel's stance in this one.
Yes.
He's been able to make sure. I mean, Pedro's had some really good tosses.
Yeah, the posture and balance of Emmanuel Brown this whole
That
fight
knee kind of got in low.
probably seems to be just a glancing blow. Doesn't seem to be too affected.
Yeah, knee slipped in. Sometimes
happens.
that happens, you know. Two
See
fighters,
plenty
different
of,
angles.
Yep, plenty of low blows tonight. Good check
For a
there
good
from
guy
Brown.
like Ed West.
Balls. Oh, and he goes for the dump there. Doesn't quite get it. Pedro Chavez got him up against the ropes here. Oh, good body work.
Oh, nice one.
And Pedro controlling the exchanges here in round number 3.
Nice play for Emmanuel. Suck those arms in. Emmanuel, Pedro's staying very active in this round with those knees inside this clinch.
I'd like to give the ref a lot of credit for letting these guys work in the clinch positions. He understands just how skilled they are and how everything has a purpose. And here we go. Last few seconds of the fight. Pedro Chavez. Emmanuel Brown, and that is the end. First of 2 championship bouts this evening.
46, and judge number 3 scored it 48-47 for your winner by unanimous decision. And first, PFA light heavyweight state champion out of the red corner, Pedro Chavez.
Congratulations to Pedro Chavez. I will be the first to say this is a deserving champion right here.
Performance, and again, for those who may appreciate the clinch work, I mean, that was just a spectacular show of dominance and, control, close range.
Pedro, how does it feel?
Neil Brown, not too happy. It's
hard for this. I've been to so many practices, so many company events. It's just this means everything to me right now. It's probably the most important day of my life so far.
Awesome, man. Is there anything that you trained in particular, anything that got you ready for this fight?
We put in the work all the time. Me and my coach, Josh, over here, great coach, man. He just tells me what to do and what I need to work on my next fights and stuff. He tells me the truth every time, and I appreciate that from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Pedro Chavez, your new light heavyweight Arizona State champion.